Is there a path that could take us back down to 25.7? Yeah, there's lots of ways. There's a plethora of ways to get there. Bitcoin, crypto, morning tea. Hey. Good morning, everybody. My name's pianomattyb. That is Scaramucci. And this is your morning tea. A brief glimpse into the crypto markets, where the sun's shining, where the winds blow. All the humble opinion of this piano Zamboni ringing that. The FOMO index has inched down to 52 from yesterday's 53. Bitcoin dominance is 48.6%. 24-hour volume is 33 billion. The overall market cap is 1.16 trillion. Give or take 100 million. Well, are we in the longest channel of monotony ever? Kind of, but no. Feels like it anyways. But who's selling? Are we making bullish moves to the upside? Even if it's slow bullish moves, not really. But who's selling? Yesterday, after trying desperately to cling to that 29.5 level, price action let go of its grip and fell down, finding a bottom and a bounce at 28.9 and has limped back up to time of production 29.1, finding ourselves once again underneath all three moving averages, and we've carved out this cute little bear flag. The price probability of this flag is, and sing it with me now, oh, you take the pole, you slide it all, the breakout point, and then we're all at 27.9-ish. Shock, that's slower than that dastardly 28.2 level we've been droning on and on about. Now overrun the ding dong. You can see we've carved out a bearish engulfing candle, which is a technical pattern that signals more bearish momentum to come.
That which once wicked will get candlesticked.
Ah, yes, the angelic voices of the children's choir of enchanted wicks, letting us know that a juicy wick has been sacrificed to the gods of wickedness, down at 28.5. Look for a bounce from that level, or else that bear flag on the floor on the 4-hour chart may come to fruition. And when asked why Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was getting a divorce from his wife, the Maple Leaf simp and cuck WHO puppet replied, well, it's no secret I've been living in the closet since long before. Is that a dad alert? Yes, it is. Seems the 20 moving averages crossed bearish over the 50. And well, the last time that happened, back on May 7th, we experienced a 13% loss. And where would a 13% loss take us right now? Well, that's way down at 25.7. Would you look at that, my friends? The sun's up. It's another beautiful day here on planet Earth. A day none of us are guaranteed, so get out there and knock them dead. And remember, we're playing the same game as our psychopathic elected leads. That's right, it's the long game. So zoom out and have a fantastic majestic day. And we'll be going live right away, so grab yourself a coffee. Join me for a Thursday auction quick one. And by all means, sing it with me now. I'll run the banks of boom to spang. Bitcoin, crypto, morning tea. Hey, whoa. Ching. Good morning. It's another beautiful day here on planet Earth. A day none of us are guaranteed. We're not guaranteed these days. I've realized I forgot to say that on the thing. It's funny because, like, it's all kind of muscle memory, some of the lines and everything. So when I do forget it, I'm as shocked as maybe anyone else would be. Well, it's a beautiful day here in Winnipeg. I think it's like 18 degrees. That's my perfect day. Good morning, Wilt Money, Terry Crow, Richard Random K in Beijing, Dave Digital, Troy N, John Superfresh, Mark Stone, Misco, Ross Mitchell, Sneaky Pete, BC, Matt Crossingham in London, and Squatchy J, Earth Scum, Storm Chasing Video, Randy, Christopher Selden. I saw Squatchy J. No, I wasn't censoring Hulk comments. However, I do have, like, in the last bull run, there were so many bots that I would just read the bots, and then they had like little signs like greater than, greater than, less than, all these weird things, and I put them all in the don't allow comment things. So there might have been something that you said that kind of, I don't know, was in one of those comment things that, I don't know, don't Earth Scum, good morning. Is Scaramucci's actually one of your cats? Yes, it is. But you know what? I wasn't going to say this because I've gone too far. Anyway, rest in peace, Scaramucci's. Scaramucci's was, these birds. I'm talking about Scaramucci here. He used to chase you around all the time. Yes, unfortunately, we lost Scaramucci. He went out the door one day and he never came back. So we put up signs everywhere. You know, I was like, this is the most famous cat on the internet. This is Scaramucci. If you see Scaramucci, let him in. And I have to think that he was such a handsome cat and big. He was a big cat that someone picked him up, because he's not like, he was very chill too. So no matter what, anyone could come up to him and he'd just be like, what's up? What's up? And he'd high five. Like, a cat high five to me is when they go by your leg and give you the old wisp. That's a cat high five. So he was all about the cat high fives. And yeah, he never came back. And we had all these things in with the Humane Society or whatever it was. And they never contacted us. We had it on missing cats. So I think someone took him in. And, lucky for them, because he was a awesome cat. And the story of Scaramucci, Forrest Gumpian. I know I always say my life is very Forrest Gumpian, but here's how Forrest Gumpian it can actually get. Back in the old house, when I was doing this show called Duke and Daddy, where Duke would sit on my piano and I teach him how to read. This is during like 2020. And we would go live to my mom and maybe one other person. I still look at the video. The videos are on are still on YouTube. I keep them up, so if I lose them, like, I have them backed up, but if I lose them, they'll be there for, you know, Duke in 20 years, and he can see these hilarious videos there. They're very cute too. But I had green screens everywhere, right? I hadn't put them up anywhere. There was a green screen lying on the floor. And then Scaramucci's just was like, hey, that looks like a fun little pile of green to lie on and maybe go to bed. And so he went to bed on my green screen. I just happened to walk by, and I'm like, holy smokes. And I set up the lights, and I just put a video up and then recorded him sleeping for like, I don't know, 15 minutes. So that he was immortalized in internet history forever. And yeah, so he lives on, right? He lives on. I look at him every day. So he was a good cat. He was very like, he was my kind of cat, just very chill. Never really, he couldn't meow like he could, but his meow was like this. So when he wanted out, or he never even meowed when he wanted out. Thanks, Sneaky Pete. pour one out for the moocher. Yes, Scaramucci. Rest in peace. I'll keep him on that piano until I stop doing these piano videos. So don't worry about that, or these crypto videos. He'll be there forever. Yeah, and that's where we got Mingo. So you see Mingo sometimes. His name's Rosario Mingo, and I named him after a character in the Duke and Daddy YouTube shows that I would do with Duke when he was 4. And I got my brother-in-law to be Rosario Mingo. And I always thought it was a cool name. So when we got a cat, I named the cat Mingo. And to this day, I'm not sure if Duke, we just stopped doing Duke and Daddy when I got the feeling that he kind of didn't like it anymore. And because it was live, it was kind of weird. I was like, this is getting weird. So I just stopped it. There's Mingo. Hey, you heard your name, eh? This is Rosario Mingo. Yeah. So I always say that Rosario Mingo is the reincarnation of Scaramucci's. He's big like I don't know if you can see how big he is, but he's a big old cat. And Scaramucci, he's like he wouldn't come for affection, you know, like very rarely would he need a pat or whatever. And the same with this guy. And this guy has the same non-existent meow as Scaramucci, like mah, mah, mah. Such a weird one. So that's weird, eh? We're just talking about Rosario Mango. He comes up. I guess he heard me say that. Yes, Joe Blow 2. I was right. Mr. Rogers and George Carlin didn't know about your reading show. Yes, Joe Blow 2. No one knows about it. I still have it. I think it's still there, or I don't know if it's I made it private or whatever. But it's Duke and Daddy, and it's pretty funny, like when you think about it. Morning Breaking Free from Florida. Yeah, if you want to have a good laugh, go check out Duke and Daddy. It's very cute though, because Duke was 4. You know, he sings a lot of songs. I wrote a children's album before the pandemic, and it was going really well. And we had invites to all the folk fests and stuff. So there was a time there where me and my buddy Trevor, if you've seen the piano stream, he's the drummer that comes on every now and then. We were like, well, I guess we're going to be kids entertainers for the next little while. And then, of course, she all shut down. And that never happened. But the songs that I wrote for that album, Duke sings on the album when he was 4. He sings a couple songs, couple lead vocals, and to me it's still bizarre, like how there's levels of singing, right? There's the singing in the shower, singing in the car, the karaoke singer, the professional live singer, and then the studio singer. So the studio singer is the
upper echelon of singing. You kind of have to be a scientific, because there's no, although you can fix stuff now, I never really do. I try to get a natural type of sound. And so when I was recording the album, Duke would be singing the songs, because they're catchy little kid songs, and I'd be like, maybe I can get him to sing a couple songs. So he could, and he'd just bang it off. One take Jones. He sang like one song. It was very hard to sing, called Sleepyhead. And there was another song called Smart Cookie. I'm a smart cookie, yes I am. And he sang it just amazingly. And he sang another one called, what was it? I Love My Mommy and Daddy, right? So these are songs. If you go to my website, you'll see an album called All the Bubbles in the World. And it's my children's album that I wrote before the pandemic. And the reason it's called All the Bubbles in the World is that one day when Duke was having a bath, we were making it a bubble bath, and he just kept on saying, more bubbles, Dada, more bubbles. And I finally said, Duke, how much bubbles do you really want? And he looked at me and he said, all the bubbles in the world. And so that became the name of the song and the name of the album, All the Bubbles in the World. But if you go to YouTube, you can find them all as well. Just go All the Bubbles in the World, YouTube, and you kind of see the playlist or whatever. They're pretty fun, especially if you have kids. Your kids will like them. And you'll like them because they're kind of slightly kind of adult tinged to be, it's a sophisticated enough melody that you can listen to it, because I know how annoying some songs can be as a dad when they get into it repeated. PSC Advantage, love that album. Thanks, buddy. Yes, JB, is the cat microchipped? I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, because I believe it was, because it kind of, you have no real choice anymore. When you get the shots or whatever, that's what happens. Mingo, he's still sitting in the little thing. I wish I could point the camera at it. It's very cute. Just hanging out, paws over the thing. Baby Shark, yes. So funny, Earth Scum. When we did a couple shows, we did a couple outdoor shows as this kids band. I was on piano, and my buddy Trevor was on the drums, and we would play the songs from the album, but inevitably someone would say, do you know Baby Shark? And I didn't know what Baby Shark was. So a couple gigs in, I actually went on YouTube, and lo and behold, is like, does this song have 6 billion views? It sure does. So I learned it, and whenever, I'd say we did about a dozen of these kid shows before everything broke down, and by the end of them, the last 4, we would just play a couple of the more upbeat songs, and then I'd get names from the kids in the audience, and I'd do Baby Shark, Baby Shark, 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 Baby Shark, 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 Shark. If I was playing this game right now, I would go like this, Shark, Shark, the war player, blah, 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 the war player, blah, 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 Juan Lopez, blah, 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 and Charlie, Earth Scum, PSA, advantage, Terry, crow. You get what I'm saying. And that's how I would end the show, like 10 minutes of it, ad nauseum. We got here. Let's move on a bit here. Did we talk about 25.7? Yeah, so 25.7 is where the last fractal of this 20 moving average crossing the 50 went. Doesn't mean it will or it has to. It's just, these things happen when these things happen. The last time this happened, it went down 13%. And we hit that 24K-ish kind of pseudo bottom for the 20s or whatever that run was then, and then it went back up. So I don't think it will, but that's what it did. Katie Boone, If I Had a Dinosaur, Sleeping Giant kids songs. I'll check it out, maybe. Let's see. I saw this thing today. It's Elizabeth Warren BS. Let's see here. Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders part kind of broke my heart a bit. Bernie Sanders urged closure of $50 billion crypto gap. Okay. I expect it from the banking biatch, Elizabeth Warren, but Bernie Sanders. But now that I think about it, I think Bernie Sanders has almost lost in Yonkers a bit, and they're just like, he's in his big office and someone slides a bill. It's like, hey, Bernie, you do us a favor and just sign this? He's like, sure, I'll sign it. And they take his hand and he signs it. So I don't really think he knows what he's doing. Or if he does, as if he knows what crypto is, as if he knows what Bitcoin or the blockchain is or anything like that. And so it went on to say, have you ever spoke about why you left Bitboy? I have. I can go over it again in a second. I just want to do this here. Given the chance, tax evaders, right, and the crypto intermediaries willing to aid them. The crypto intermediaries willing to aid them. What does that mean? What are they? Who are they insinuating? Will continue to game the system, exploit loopholes, and siphon off billions of dollars a year from the U.S. government. You must not give them the chance. Game the system, exploit loopholes, and siphon off billions of dollars from the U.S. Who does that sound like? Who does that? Oh, it's them. This is what they do. They game the system. They exploit the loopholes. They siphon off billions of dollars a year from the U.S. government. Isn't it just rich how they come up with this stuff when they're the worst offenders there is? Those bloody dinosaurs, those psychopathic elected dinosaurs. It makes me sick. It's like, it actually gives me a sick feeling when I think about them, because they honestly do have a lot of power still to make life miserable for a lot of people, especially, like, we see it every day. I mean, Bitcoin will always prevail. It will always prevail. But man, they put up a lot of hurdles that just make it silly. And I mean, they should just retire already. Just go to the country club, play tennis, get your lessons with the young, good-looking tennis pro, and then spend another 2 hours on the back nine, right? Joe Blow 2, Ukraine, and how about millions for dollars for counting bluefish in the ocean, kickback problems. Yeah, I saw that video. It was like where the guy saying, do you know how much electricity it takes to fuel the grid? And like the director of electricity or energy or whatever was like, no. And just right there, it just goes to show that all they are just figureheads in charge of a think tank. Yeah, we're going to move you into the renewable energy. And then they go on to, they don't know anything about it. Like before that, they were on tobacco and guns, right? And now we're moving you over here. And you, oh, okay, sounds good. Just in time for my 5-year retirement. Now, so breaking free. The Bitboy story was in January of 2022. No, 21. They revamped their channel. And they said they were making a bunch of changes, and one of them is not having my TA on it. And it was kind of a blessing in disguise, because I got to kind of go on my own. And I always say this, they were nothing but amazing when I was on their channel. They never said do this, don't do that, or try, or talk about this or talk about that. They never said anything like that. They just let me, in my Forrest Gumpian life, basically they paid me to make content and develop a channel and an idea from scratch. So it was an opportunity of a lifetime, because I hadn't been doing that. Like, if you look at the first video, it's pretty cringy. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know what I was doing, because essentially the day before the first video, Ben said, oh, the mosquitoes are out. Ben said, well, let's do it. Do one tomorrow if you can. I'm like, oh, okay. And so that the next day I did one, right? And then I've been doing them ever since. But I didn't have a game plan when I started the videos. I just had a loose idea of singing and playing technical or playing the piano while I read the charts. But even on those early videos, I didn't really start singing. And if you're like one of the old schoolers, I didn't sing for a long time. It just kind of snuck out. I would start singing the end of lines and stuff like that. And then it just kind of got more and more. And so it was my Forrest Gumpian opportunity to develop an idea and get compensated for it while I was doing it. Because, I mean, I never really would have done it because it wasn't on my radar to kind of start a Bitcoin technical analysis channel. I just wasn't thinking of it. I was in Bitcoin and I was reading the charts and I was doing live videos with Duke, but I never thought about doing it. And the only reason I did is that one day on the live stream, Bitboy's live stream, Ben's live stream, he said, "Hey, we're looking for a TA guy. If you live in the area, or I suppose can make videos and send them in." And that's when I didn't think about it. And so a couple days later, I am setting up the lights and the camera for Duke and Daddy. And if you do go watch some Duke and Daddy, you'll see the correlation between what I do on this channel and what I did on Duke and Daddy. This is where the Forrest Gump thing, like when I was doing the Duke and Daddy, to no one, believe me, when you start a channel, you go to zero. Like, you're lucky if one person, and the one person that I was lucky to have was probably my mom. She's the only one that was watching it. So if you see those videos, Duke and Daddy, you'll see how the things kind of moved around and there was a background that changed. You'll see how those things were like the genesis of what I kind of brought over to the Bitcoin Crypto Morning TA channel. So it's funny, a lot of times in life you do things, or at least I do things, and I'm not sure why I'm doing it. I'm constantly asking myself, "Hey, Mingo, why am I doing this?" And then later you find out, if you keep on doing certain things, there was a reason you were doing it. And I suppose the reason I was doing the Duke and Daddy was to kind of hone those weird little skills, make things fly around. Of course, they were live when I was doing it, so it was a different thing. I could never do that now because I always playing the piano, but I wasn't playing the piano with Duke and Daddy. I was, talking with Duke and asking. I would put in words like SN with a blank and then KE, and then he would have to guess the word, and then A would come walking in or whatever. So nobody watched those videos, which is what happens, right? But the experience I gained from that was what allowed me to instantly hit the floor running on Ben's channel. And without it, there's no way I could have done it. There's absolutely zero way I could have had anything remotely close to what the channel is now, even then. So if you go back, I have the first one. Maybe I'll play it one of these days just to revisit it when the market isn't doing anything. We can maybe have a look at it and kind of do a mutual cringe. Because when the channel first came out on Ben's, you have to understand, the day before Duke and Daddy got 0 views. The day later, that Ben's, like my content on Ben's got like 40,000 views. So it was really an insane kind of thing. Food Offensive, I've watched every TA video since your first one on Bitboy and remember your interview with him. Yes, that was right. So that interview was Monday. The next day was the first video. I'm trying to find that interview too, because I think it'd be funny to watch, because you have to understand, just like everyone in this channel, Sunday or Friday, I had watched Ben's live stream, and then Sunday, I was Zooming with Ben. and TJ in their little office that they used to do their live streams in. That's just 48 hours. And then the next day, Monday, I was on his live stream. So there was this surreality of it was very bizarre. And this is why I always say it's very Forrest Gumpian. And then the next day, I was making the videos, right? Breaking Free, make sure you guys like the channel. It really helps. Yeah, it sure does help. So I've been told, right? You always hear you got to like and subscribe and etc., etc. And I generally find I get the same amount of likes and comments with each video. You know, that's kind of peaks out. And the one thing about these videos is that they're not evergreen, and I'm going over 30 minutes here, so I'll quit it. They're not evergreen, so for some reason the algorithm knows after about 23 hours, boom, it just shelves it, and it'll just sit there. Even some of the evergreen videos I've made in my attempts to make evergreen videos, they kind of just get shelved too. So Breaking Free, as an entrepreneur, I love startup stories. Yeah, that Breaking Free, that was the craziest startup story ever, because in my little community, I knew one person. His name was John. He's a buddy of mine, John. And you can imagine any of you guys, if Bitboy said, hey, come make some stuff, come make some content on my channel, you'd probably be like, holy smokes, this is crazy. But I didn't know anyone who watched Ben's channel except for me and John. Hi, buddy. Sit down, my boy. I'm just going to finish up the story, and then you can let her rip. And so when I phoned John, I was like, John, you're not going to believe what just happened. And I've opened up a lot of phone calls with like that with him. He's like, what? I'm like, I'm going to start making TA videos on Bitboy's channel. And he couldn't believe it. Like, we know what that would be like for all of us in this community, right? So it was pretty hilarious. And yeah, the rest is YouTube history, I suppose. XRP A11 saw you in Bitboy too. That's why I'm here. Well, thanks for continuing on. I appreciate the support from everybody. Duke, are you bullish or are you bearish?
Bearish.
Bearish? Holy smokes! How come, my boy?
I don't think Nanny's watching.
Oh, he doesn't think Nanny's watching, so now he can really say your true feelings, right? Okay, well, let's sing the good folks out. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Hold on. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate having this cup of coffee with y'all. I hope you have a great day. Duke.
We're playing the same game as our psychopathic elected elites. That's right, it's a long game. So zoom out and have a fantastic look at my shoes. They're dead.
Oh, they're mine. Yes, they are. Yeah.
On the banks, the boom, the spank, Bitcoin, crypto,
Make sure you like and subscribe.